Obviously, we came out. We struggled a little bit in the first half. I just felt like the weight. I just felt the weight on our shoulders. I felt like our kids were playing with a lot of pressure. Internal pressure. This was a team we felt like we were just going to go out and just destroy, and myself included. And we, credit to them. They didn't just do that, allow us to do that, and they forced us to have to actually play basketball and work through some things and make us do some things right. And so you give them credit, but we're looking to continue to improve. This is still a new group, and kids trying to understand verbiage, trying to understand philosophy, trying to understand how to do things the right way. And, they're trying really hard. And we just have some slippage sometimes. And I think the first half there was a lot of slippage. And then the second half we were able to clean some things up and feel much better about what we were doing.
Questions?
Yeah, Coach. I mean, we're 4 in. What's kind of the focus right now for you guys?
Half-court defense. Our half-court defense has not been very good. And, I take the blame for that, obviously. And I feel like, where we should be so much better, we're not. And, we just simply have to continue to strive. The thing about it is our kids understand that we need to improve. And, I think not that she's the end all, but I do think that when Nuria comes back, we're going to take another step forward again as far as where we are defensively. And just a kid that understands how to play in our system and understands how to play the right way. And so, you miss she's a key piece for us, and we're trying to still figure some things out. But I do really like my team a lot, and I think that, I think that we'll ultimately figure some things out.
6 scoring 12 or more.
Mm-hmm.
Was that a kind of a mixture of playing Indiana East, Southeast, or was it just?
No, we've scored. We've been fortunate, even the Coastal game, I think that's been by far our worst offensive game. And that was just because we couldn't make shots, and we still scored 58 points or something, and we missed a lot of open shots that game. Oakland, we scored 75 points, and we missed 24 shots at the rim, mostly layups. So, you score 75 points in games where you're missing all those point-blank shots. You're doing some good things. You're just not putting it in. And we know that we have some firepower. We have some kids that can really score. And but our issue right now is just defensively. We feel like we're not as good as where we need to be. There's a lot of miscommunication on the floor. There's a lot of mistakes being made, but I do think that our kids, their intent is there. They want to be better. They have the ability to be better. Therefore, we will be better.
And last thing, what are your strengths you're seeing early on for you guys?
I'm sorry?
Your strengths early on.
I think our strengths is pretty much what I just mentioned. I think we can score the ball. So I think being able to just have enough firepower when you're not playing your best basketball, you can still put the ball in the basket. That does a lot for you, because we're still able to put some pressure on our opponents because we continue to mark. But we're still flawed in ways offensively. Like, we still get stagnant. We still, we pass it when we should drive it. We drive it when we should pass it. And it's just trying to find that healthy balance between our post play and our ability to get to the basket, because sometimes the bigs can clog the lane, but yet you need them because they can score around the basket. But yet sometimes that takes away from our ability to get to the basket. And so just trying to put it all together, it's a work in progress. I say that we scored 94. We've been scoring, and so we just got to continue to work through some things.
Glenn, Tamar Singer, she seems like kind of a old school point guard. Pass first, she sees the floor pretty well. Just what she adds to your team and what she means.
Well, she's a tremendous leader, and she's still growing as a player, which I feel really good about. She's our kid, and she's grown up a lot from last year, and I'm not just talking about off the court, but like really on the court. Like, you can just tell she has more discretion when she's on the court. There are times where last year, she would have just chucked that pass. Now she's like, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't chuck that pass, and that's where she's starting to see things a little bit, Sometimes, offensively, she's she could be a frame ahead and forgot the previous frame, and she's just trying to continue to see the game the way that she needs to see it. And you can see her developing in that area. She's understanding where most of her turnovers were last year, and she's trying to avoid those type of turnovers this year. Last game she took a lot of shots. She missed a lot of shots at the rim, and she's kind of hit and miss with that. When she's on, she's really making her layups. When she's off, she can have those tough nights. And so she's still a work in progress, but I wouldn't trade her for anything. And she leads us defensively. That's her biggest attribute.
One last thing on her, and then I'll pass the mic. She, does it help, too, having a kid like that on your team that's got a little life experience? I mean, she's had a couple years where she was like in the service, did all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Why don't she bring something a little extra?
Yes, she's very mature. So she sees the game. She has a different perspective than other people, as she should, right? She's lived through war times, and she's been in the military, and she's, I don't know how many thousands of miles away from home. And so she's a kid whose real life experiences, I feel like have helped shape her leadership qualities. And so, I know as she continues to improve as a player, it's only gonna take her leadership abilities to another level, I feel like. So